Every character in Dead Estate is unique in their own way. They all have their strengths, weaknesses, different playstyles, fun costumes, and interesting curses. Today, I aim to zone in on one, the first of the two starting characters, Jeff Jefferson. Yeah, that's his actual name. Also, spoiler warning, as I will be covering a lot of what this game has to offer.
Ah, great. Let's get moving.
Jeff is your typical starter character, meaning he's pretty average overall but very beginner friendly. As his description states, he has very high base health but low agility, and starts with a basic handgun. His health is indeed very high, starting with a whopping 8 HP from the get-go. To offset this though, he has the lowest speed out of everyone, being 2, which is slightly slower than Fuji and on par with Lewis. Starting out, his handgun deals 12 damage per shot and fires at a medium pace. Although nothing really stands out about Jeff, he's an extremely forgiving character that lets you learn the game without being too severely punished for making mistakes. His slow speed does make him more prone to getting hit, but his almost full stage coverage with his handgun more than makes up for that, allowing you to keep your distance from enemies and shoot them from afar. Jeff benefits the most from agility and fire rate boosts primarily, and strength and health boosts taking second priority, as he already has so much base health and decent starting damage. Whether it's your first time playing or you're an expert, Jeff will always be a decent pick. But now, let's go into a bit more detail. Sure, Jeff may not have a ton going for him at first, but he has quite a bit of potential. Because of his high base health, you can prioritize buying agility and strength upgrades at the first floor's doctor, setting you up with better damage and better maneuverability. That being said, Jeff does need a bit of investment to actually make him powerful. Sure, you could say that about every character, but the handgun's damage starts to fall off a lot once you progress to the later floors, and his low agility will, ironically, catch up with him when faster enemies are introduced. You'll want to look for items that boost your agility, namely Strange Fruit, Marshmallow Bunny, Choco Bar, and Diet Pills. I'd even wager you could try using sugar, especially once you get some health boosts. And of course, if you get the chance, get the flies from the toilet. It's probably your best bet if you only have 1 or 2 toilet papers and find the bathroom. If you do find one or more of these items, the Dwayne Burger is a great option to further increase your health. And you can also start focusing on your other stats, namely damage. In my opinion, the best way to increase your DPS is to look for items that increase your rate of fire, such as Fear itself and Slime. The Double Slurp Cup, while it doesn't boost your rate of fire, it does make your projectiles travel faster, so it's also a great item to pick up if you see. And since your handgun only fires a single bullet at a time, items that improve your projectiles are very helpful, like Mitosis, Gemini, and the Penetrating or Glass Eye. Finally, if you can find it, special rounds are very good for that handgun damage boost. Against bosses, Jeff performs pretty well. Since he doesn't have any sort of gimmick, his only damage requirement is to point and shoot. Because he has such great range, he can always be a good distance away and still do steady damage. Having any of the items mentioned before will improve his performance drastically, especially against fast-moving or bullet hell bosses like Diavola, Sybil, Kraken, and any of the Leviathan bosses. Everyone else he can pretty easily avoid, even with his low agility. And remember, if you mess up, you won't be as severely punished. Like every character, Jeff has 3 curses that can change the way you play him and keep things fresh. They can be obtained by buying them from Helmar with Chunks medallions. His 3 are decent. They aren't really anything insane per se, but they can give you a considerable edge if handled right. Curse of the Lethargic increases Jeff's base HP to 10 and boosts his fire rate, but makes him even slower. Curse of the Bowels makes toilet paper spawn much more often for Jeff, which can be traded with the toilet in the bathroom for powerful items, but shops completely stop spawning for Jeff. Curse of the Weary changes Jeff's default weapon to the double handgun, but increases the chance for tanking enemies to spawn. Honestly, the only curse I really like is the first one. It just further accentuates his survivability and DPS, but makes buying agility upgrades on the first floor a much higher priority, and places buying health boosts on an even lower one. Curse of the Bowels is just interesting to say the least. Sure, toilet paper can net you some amazing items, but not being able to shop anywhere else? Pretty much all of the shops are crucial to getting the proper upgrades to take on the tougher levels of the game, and being limited to only the bathroom shop is a huge deterrent in enabling this. That also means no gun dealers or clinics. Not to mention having toilet paper in your inventory without wet wipes will lower your maximum HP to 2. Nor are you guaranteed an elevator to the bathroom, so you could be walking around with 2 HP for multiple floors. But remember how I said before that if handled properly, these could give you an edge? Well, I mostly meant this one. If you play very carefully and actually find an elevator to the bathroom with a bunch of toilet paper in your inventory, you could potentially have all the upgrades necessary to beat any of the routes with just a single shop visit. You just have to be very cautious with getting your health back afterward, as you can't just go and buy ambrosia from Cordelia anymore. Because remember, once you get rid of the toilet paper, your maximum HP does go back to normal, but your current HP will stay at 2. I will say though, this is probably the easiest way to get the Occupied achievement, which requires you to buy out the toilet's entire stock. Curse of the Weary basically just gives you 6 extra damage in exchange for some tanky enemies that might spawn every now and then. Is the double handgun worth it? It may not be the best curse weapon, but it will give you a nice boost if you're fine with some stronger enemies coming at you. The added projectile does allow you to control slightly larger groups of enemies. It's especially effective against fat zombies, chesties, megaclots, and large groups of leeches. You can honestly get through the game just fine with the regular handgun. Enabling this wouldn't be too much of a bad thing, it just isn't anything extraordinary. For going through the various routes the game has, Jeff only requires a basic understanding of the game and its mechanics to succeed. For the normal route, Jeff has a pretty easy time taking care of all the enemies on the normal 4 floors. Only a few quick moving monsters will give him some trouble, such as fast zombies, ashleys, kagus, rabbits, and eye spiders. Other than that, Chunks is a very easy kill, as you can keep your distance from him and easily avoid his projectile spam by jumping. You can honestly beat this route without picking up any items, which actually is an achievement you can get, so make sure you practice. For the true ending, Jeff has about the same performance as on the normal floors, but not really the same issues. None of the enemies or bosses on the alt floors or exit realm really have any significant speed that gives Jeff any issues. Against Diavola though, Jeff might have a bit of trouble if no speed boost or damage boost were obtained prior to reaching her. Though she's not too hard of a final boss, I would highly recommend getting the proper upgrades to take her down without having to worry too much. For the Awakening ending, you're really going to want to beef Jeff up before even attempting these levels. The enemies here are extra tough and extra fast, and will decimate your health if you either don't know how to fight them or don't have any significant boosts. The bosses are the same deal. These guys are a lot harder than the others, so proper investment is necessary if you want a fair fight. Especially against Oko. Screw this damn sheep. As for the final boss, Leviathan, yeah, you're gonna need a ton of DPS boosts at the very least, because holy hell does this guy have so many phases and so much health. If you don't have any agility upgrades by the time you enter the dream levels, expect to get hit. A lot. And now finally, let's talk about Jeff's various costumes. Like everyone else, he has 4, including his default outfit, which looks pretty fine. He's got that rough around the edges, but probably super chill when you actually get to know him vibe. Which, if we take into account the birthday on his license, that would make him only 43 years old at the time of the game. That's a rough 43, man. 6 out of 10. His B costume is unlocked by clearing the Dark Moods Woods level on Painful difficulty, which is pretty easy and straightforward to do. It's basically only the 2nd level of the game, and Painful isn't that much of a difficulty jump. He'll get turned into a gnome, which, I mean, come on, look at him. His in-game sprite size doesn't change, but in cutscenes he'll be, well, gnome-sized. It honestly doesn't look too bad, and it's just kind of funny overall. Though I am a bit disappointed, as in the in-game art gallery, it states that potential costumes for him were Johnny Utah or Tank Man, but I guess I'm fine with our funny gnome man. 5 out of 10. Jeff's C costume is obtained by clearing a run with all 3 of his individual curses enabled. A bit annoying to do because of Curse of the Bowels, but honestly not that bad if you just do the normal route. He gets turned into a younger version of himself, and honestly, I kind of dig it. Kinda solidifies the jaded but actually a really cool dude vibe his normal present-day self gives off. I usually run this costume when I'm playing as him. Does that make me basic? I don't really care. I think he looks nice. 7 out of 10. His D costume is unlocked by completing his Mental Power Challenge. This one is honestly pretty easy, but it'll take you a good while to even get it, as you need to 1. Beat the Awakening route as Jeff, then 2. Complete it again, but under his challenge's requirements, which just starts you off with some extra items in your inventory. Again, not too bad, just really time consuming. He gets a nice fisherman suit for his beach skin. It's not a bad costume. He looks pretty nice and like his usual self, just with some updated drip and a shaved beard. 7 out of 10. While Jeff isn't the most powerful or unique character, his basic playstyle allows you to enjoy the game at your own pace. And if you're new, learn enemy attack patterns without biting off too much of your overall health pool if you get hit. His progression is pretty straightforward and easy to obtain, and you'll have fun blasting through enemies nonetheless. Overall, I'd give Jeff a 6 out of 10. Not bad, not great, but happily sitting right in the middle. I'm telling you though, if you're brand new to the game, play as Jeff for your first time around. He's a lot more forgiving than the next character, Jules. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate you giving me the time of day. Make sure to hit that like button if you liked the video, and if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? You can expect some more content like this in the future, so if you have any suggestions or feel like I missed something or just want to tell me what you feel about Jeff, make sure to tell me in the comments below. Good luck, drive safe, and have yourselves a good one.